Good morning, students, and welcome to the class of English. Children, today I'm going to present before you a very interesting chapter. Its name is Footprints Without Feet by H.G. Wells. Formerly, children, this chapter's real name is The Invisible Man, and it's a novel written by H.G. Wells. So it is an adaptation from that novel, this chapter. So in short, we will study about the invisible man. And I definitely believe, children, that when you hear invisible man, you are getting goosebumps. Definitely, children, the story is also interesting. Think, can a man become invisible? Yes or no? Children, this is the story of a scientist who discovers how to make himself invisible. But does he misuse or use his discovery? It is an important point to discuss over here. Children, it is well said. First of all, it's difficult to get power. And once you get power, it's difficult to store inside your body. You might have read and even heard about various powerful persons in the history. Those who were not able to control their power and turned out to be something unwanted. So, children, the power needs a powerful body for its storage. You might have seen transformers. What happens when the load increases? It bursts. Similarly, if the power increases inside the body, and if the person is not able to control it, the person bursts. So, children, let's find out what happened to this eccentric scientist. Griffin, a scientist, discovers a rare drug, or you can say a chemical, which could make a person invisible. He tried that invisibility formula first on a piece of wool, and then he tried it on a cat. The landlord came to know about this weird scientist, and he started disliking him. And he asked Griffin to move out of his house. Griffin, as he was eccentric, not mentally stable, he wanted to take revenge, or he wanted to revenge on him. So he swallows the drug and becomes invisible himself, and puts the house of the landlord on fire. He puts off the clothes and becomes invisible. Children, this phenomena is very important here, that to become invisible, Griffin had to take out his clothes. So he puts off clothes, becomes invisible, and runs away. It was a cold weather, and he badly needed the clothes to keep himself warm. He slept inside a cloth store and had meal, and he slept at night. So, an eccentric scientist discovered a rare drug which could make a naked man invisible, not liked much by his landlord, and decided to revenge on him. Yes, children, I am talking about Griffin. One day he set his landlord's house on fire, then drank the rare drug and put off his clothes. Now he could see everyone, but none could see him. He was safe from being caught. But in fact, he was without clothes, and it was very cold in London. He passed the night in a London store, stole goods and money from the store, and then ran away from there, went to a village called Epping. He stayed there at an inn. INN means, children, a rest house or a lodge. He stole money from the clergyman's desk, as he was having the requirement of money. So he turned out to be a thief also. A policeman called Jeffers was called, but Jeffers couldn't catch an invisible man. So a strange fight took place, and then Griffin ran away from there also. Children, H.G. Wells, in short, or Herbert George Wells, a great writer, and especially, children, he is a fiction writer who used to write fiction stories, and fiction you know very well, which is not true. The famous works of H.G. Wells include The Time Machine and The Invisible Man. About this story, children, again I am telling you that Griffin, a brilliant and devoted scientist, discovered that human body could be made invisible and transparent. And as I told you in the beginning, it's difficult to control power. The same happened here, and he turned out to be a lawless person. His landlord disliked him and wanted to eject him. So in revenge, he set his house on fire. To become invisible, he had to shed his clothes. Same he did, and became a homeless wanderer without clothes and money. The air was bitterly cold in midwinter, and Griffin could not do without clothes. So he entered a big London store to warm and feed himself. Some new words, children, which have been used in this story are: panicked means be afraid or confused, shivering means trembling, callously means without mercy, appearance out of form, solitude, loneliness, satisfied, contented. Irritable means one who easily gets annoyed. Occurred or happened. Poker, it's a rod for poking fire. Generally in cold countries, every house has a fireplace to keep the house warm, and to just increase the flame, one rod is used for poking the fire. It is known as poker. Gave chase means followed. Side whiskers, bared. Arrival means reaching. Effort, attempt. Disturbed, hindered. Eccentrical, whimsical. Episode, event. chink, sound of coins, firmly, steadily. Children, if we talk about the character of Griffin or the Invisible Man, the name given in the novel, so at first he is the stranger who arrives at Epping, that he is, and then he is the voice that startles or surprises everybody. His real name is Griffin, but he is known by the name Invisible Man. Though he is the protagonist of the story, all his deeds are more like that of an antagonist. Antagonist means lawless person. He is an eccentric scientist, very gifted, but uses his mind in a sinister way, in a bad way, in a wrong way, illegal way. He devised an experiment to become invisible and then started looting and murdering whoever came in his way. The children, once Griffin went to a shop in Drury Lane as it was very cold outside. It was the heart of the theatre world, and he went there to find something to wear and become invisible. So from there, he found bandages around his forehead, dark glasses, a false nose, bushy sideburns, and a large hat. And all these theatrical items he used to make himself hidden. Children, he wore an overcoat, pant, hat. But what about his face? Because in his invisibility, his face was not there. So, he wrapped a bandage around his face on the outline and put a false nose, and to hide the eye sockets, he put dark glasses. And in this way, he tried to befool the world. The children inside the mall, Griffin overslept, and 2 attendants chased him in the morning. Again, he had to shed his clothes, and he was again homeless and clothless. So he loots a theatrical company, a shopkeeper, takes false nose, bandages, and other things from there, and catches a train to Epping village, to live in a village, in a countryside. He hires an inn there of Mrs. Hall and informs Mrs. Hall that he wants to live alone, although Mrs. Hall was a kind, friendly lady, and she wanted to socialize also. But later on, Griffin was not able to pay the rent. So, he steals money from the clergyman's desk to pay rent. And then came the suspicion on him. Mrs. Hall, along with her husband, wanted to know about the scientist. Alright? So, when she goes inside the room along with her husband, so a heart springs up and hits her face. No one was there, only bandages, hat, and other things lying on the bed. Griffin was not there. Suddenly, the husband of Mrs. Hall and Mrs. Hall were forced out of the room with the help of a chair. So children, it is all about the summary of the story. Hope you will get benefit out of it. That's all for today. Thank you.